Forget all the naysayers out there. The Nationals, this team is a little bit different than what you may think. And of course, if you kind of think about it, is this the biggest win since when?
You are Locked On Nationals, your daily Washington Nationals podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. And of course, I'm your host, Ryan Clary. You can catch me over on Twitter at RyanClary11 and as well as the show page at LO_Nationals. For all your latest Nationals news and notes, make sure to check us out over on Twitter. And of course, later on in today's show, the Nationals are going for the 2-game sweep against this Baltimore Orioles squad. And of course, Game 1 came in a 3-0 win. What can the Nationals do in Game 2 this time around? We'll discuss that in the third segment of today's show. And in the second segment, I think we all owe Trevor Williams a massive apology, including myself. I was the leader of this. I did not want Trevor Williams to be a starter this year. I thought it was crazy. Sir, you have a sub-2 ERA. You just shoved on one of the better teams in all of baseball. And again, in one of the biggest wins in quite some time to get the Nationals over 500, Trevor Williams, I am sorry. It's time to apologize to him and get into his big breakout season in 2024. We'll have that in your second segment of today's show. But first and foremost, we got to talk about last night's win. You got to. This was the biggest win since when? I'll discuss that after we tell you guys about today's sponsor, which is eBay Motors. And of course, from brakes to exhaust kits and beyond, eBay Motors has over 122 million parts to keep your ride or die alive. With all the parts you need at the price you want, it's easy to bring home that big win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay guaranteed fit. Only available to U.S. customers. Again, that is eBay Motors. So let's answer the first question here. As I was thinking and as I was watching last night's game, the Nationals won 3-0 first and foremost. What a game. What a tremendous win. The pitching staff top to bottom with Trevor Williams going 5 innings pitched, 0 walks, 2 hits, and 8 strikeouts against that Baltimore Orioles offense. And again, he had a pitch count of 77. This is not the same Trevor Williams that I knew going into last year. The guy who led Major League Baseball, National League rather, in home runs given up. He has yet to give up a home run this season up to this point. Trevor Williams has been out of this world. Insane. But even then, what was last night? Because again, it was May 7th yesterday. No one should be all caught up in this. But when you think about it this way, last night's win not only got the Nationals above 500 for the first time since July of 2021, but even before that, last night's win, in my opinion, this may be a little bit of a hot take, was the biggest win this franchise has had since Game 7 of the World Series back in 2019. That's what it was, in my opinion. In my opinion, if you talk about this Nationals team and where they stand today, this is a huge momentum kind of shifting game. If you talk about the 3-0 win against the Orioles, you might be thinking, Ryan, that's a little crazy. Don't you think it's a little bit of a hot take to kind of go up there and say it's the biggest win since 2019? I don't. Getting this team and where they are right now, where they are in this rebuild, getting over 500 this early on in the season, really, it's been over a month so far. This Nationals team is a wild card contender up at this point. You have to think about it. You have to actually kind of think maybe it is. Because if you really do kind of go back in the books, the last few years, the Nationals, they haven't really been competitive at all. Last year, they weren't necessarily competitive. They did kind of have that nice little second half jolt from Lane Thomas. You had guys like Stone Garrett coming up big. The pitching staff was looking pretty solid at one point as well. But now it's all clicking. If you look across this team and the offense and the pitching staff, everything has taken a step up this season. Everything. And imagine when you get guys like James Wood up in the majors, who, by the way, is crushing the baseball still. Imagine when you get a guy like Josiah Gray back off the IL. Imagine what happens when you have a few guys come in and play really good baseball, whether it be bullpen pieces like Jose Ferrer, a left-handed pitcher who I think will have an impact on this Nats bullpen later on in the season. There are a lot of things that will impact this team right now. But I think the biggest impact, again, and I cannot stress this enough, is the guy sitting up top, Mike Rizzo. Last night's win, again, it felt like the biggest win since Game 7 in the World Series. I truly do believe in that. We hear about the process and everything that has to do with it and how we should trust it. How can you not trust this process at this point? When the Nats decided to trade Juan Soto just a few years ago, it tore up the fan base. It tore up myself. Listen, let's be honest. Where would we be without that Juan Soto trade? Where would we be? Where would this Nationals team be? Where would the farm system be? The job that Mike Rizzo has done so far to stockpile this team right now, the 2024 Nationals, and put a contender on the field in just a few seasons, it's remarkable. You might be thinking, I think that might be a little bit of a stretch, Ryan. I don't think it is at all. This isn't your Nats teams from years past, in my opinion. And hell, this isn't even the organization that was from years past. The Nationals, they had their run in the 2010s. Mike Rizzo did a great job to construct that team and have a winner from 2012 all the way through 2019. But this is an organization that has flipped themselves from upside down to now standing up straight. This job and what Mike Rizzo has done has been one of the better GM jobs over the last few years in DC sports, in my opinion. Really, this is what it is in my 100% honest opinion. I might be riding a little bit high from last night's win. Maybe so. Maybe the Nationals lose 5 straight games. But I cannot get over the fact that this team, this organization as a whole, they looked in the mirror. They noticed what was wrong with them. And they have since corrected those issues. And some of those issues is developing guys on the fly, like major leaguers. You look at Jake Irvin, the way that he has developed. You look at Luis Garcia, been up in the majors now for quite some time, the way that he has been developed on the fly. And it's not even just that. Look at the farm system. Look at the guys taking the turn that you've really have not seen in quite some time. Guys who are first-round picks starting to look like first-round picks. Guys who are mid-round picks who are starting to look like first-round picks. Guys like Jacob Young coming up in the majors and seamlessly gets better every single game. You have to recognize these things. And also, not even on top of that, there's a whole laundry list of guys who have been taking these steps up that, in my opinion, have to do with the organization. You look at guys, again, we mentioned Garcia and Irvin. How about Jordan Weems? Someone who was drafted as a catcher, a shortstop back in like 2011, has come in and pitched meaningful baseball for this team. Kyle Finnegan, back in 2019, after the 2019 World Series, the Nationals signed this guy, Kyle Finnegan, who's never been up in the majors, to a major league deal. And all of a sudden, this guy's been a monster closer for us. Hunter Harvey, a former first-round pick from the Baltimore Orioles, seen to be dead, DFA'd, not really all that much, has come in and been one of the better setup guys that this Nationals team has had since maybe Tyler Clippard at this point. This is what this team is starting to look like. This is what this organization is starting to look like. A good one. A very good one from top to bottom. And this team may or may not be a postseason team, which is understandable. But this team is no longer a joke. And I think this organization as a whole, because when you talk about the team, you're thinking about the players. But the organization from top to bottom, from the GM all the way down to the bat boy, it's no longer a joke. You understand the process. The fans trust the process. And I think that is a key part in this rebuild. You have to even think about that. But meanwhile, we all know there's one thing that has to click. The Lerner family, the owners of this team. It's your turn. The time is not in 2 years. The time is not in 1 year. The time is now. You have to start spending again. This team is that close to being a real legit contender. When you have your Brady House up in the majors, your James Wood, your Dylan Cruz, your Robert Hassels, when those guys are up, you have to put talent around them and veteran talent as well. This team, they've done very good at bargain shopping. The way that Jesse Winker has been playing, incredible. The way that guys in the past have been playing, whether it's starting pitchers like Trevor Williams right now, incredible. But if this team can add, let's say, an impact first baseman or a designated hitter, and maybe even a starter at this point, watch out for the Nats in 2025 because I can trust Mike Rizzo the way that he shops with his ingredients right now. I think most Nationals fans should as well. This team in 2024, again, may not be the contender that we all maybe hope they could be. But this team is a real good team, and you can see the process. And I think most Nationals fans can even trust that process. So thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. And of course, you can check us out over on Twitter as well as our YouTube page. Just search Locked On Nationals there. Hit that subscriber button for me. And wherever you get your podcasts, again, just search Locked On Nationals. And now let me tell you guys about why Trevor Williams, you are a bad man. I am sorry. I am so sorry for ever bagging you. You did not deserve it. I'm so sorry. Trevor Williams, how have you broken out in 2024? We'll have that for you in the second segment after we tell you guys about some of our very good friends over at Prize Picks. And guys, when we talk about Prize Picks, you all need to know that this is no longer just a joke. You need to know that our friends at Prize Picks have your back. On second thought, we'll have Prize Picks for you later on in the show. But now it's time to tell you guys about our friends over at DoorDash. And guys, does mom have a sweet tooth? Is she a teeth enthusiast, a beauty connoisseur, or is she just outdoorsy? No matter what she's into, you can make her smile with a fruit or flower bouquet, makeup, teeth gear, workout wear, and much more. And of course, I'm talking about our friends at DoorDash. If you don't know DoorDash, let me tell you about them, because I need you to know that you can get all the thoughtful gifts that your mom deserves this Mother's Day weekend. And even more so than that, you can have a fruit basket, flower, centaur, whatever it is all through DoorDash. And all you have to do is get your Mother's Day gifts all in one place. And of course, get 50% off your next order up to $15. You spend $15 plus on your next flower, convenience, grocery, or retail order now with code LOCKEDONMLB. That's code LOCKEDONMLB. Order using DoorDash today. Terms do apply. And again, use code LOCKEDONMLB for $15 off when you spend $15 or more on your next flower, convenience, grocery, whatever it is for your mother. And again, that is code LOCKEDONMLB. Now, let's tell you guys about some of our other good friends over at eBay Motors. And guys, when we talk about eBay Motors, you got to know this, that there is passion, drive, and patience, which is the formula for winning championships. And it's also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors is everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance: superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back, because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the price you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. Again, keep a ride or die at eBay Guaranteed Fit. Trevor Williams, I'm sorry. We're sorry as Nationals fans. Going into this season, I was the ringleader of this. I did not want Trevor Williams to be a starting pitcher. I did not. I wanted Trevor Williams to come into a relief role, maybe be a fireman for this team. I wanted to see young guys on this starting staff, but oh my God, I am so sorry. So far through his first 7 starts of the season, not only has this guy not given up a home run, but he now has a sub-2 ERA. And again, he is starting to turn his Nationals career right around. Because again, let's get into it. Last year, led the National League in home runs given up. So far through his first 7 starts on the season, he has given up 0 home runs. In his first 36 2/3 innings pitched, again, those 7 starts, 30 strikeouts in that time frame, only 12 walks. Trevor Williams is pounding the strike zone. He is not giving up any home runs, any, at all, after giving up 2 in every 9 innings last year. This is not the Trevor Williams that I expected this year. This is not the Trevor Williams I think the Nationals expected this year. And again, if you even look at all of his numbers, all the deep dive numbers, what Trevor Williams has been doing this year has been incredible. His fielding independent pitching is at a 2.49 right now. He's at a 1.0 whip. What did you do with my Trevor Williams? What did you do with the Trevor Williams last year where you went out there and you're like, well, him and Patrick Corbin, that's basically guaranteed losses at this point. Not anymore. The way that Trevor Williams has been pitching, and again, I can't get over this. The way that he has been pitching, the way that he has been leading in that clubhouse, it's been a huge, massive success so far in 2024. No one expected this. No one went into 2024 thinking that, oh, Trevor Williams is going to play a big role for this team. No. If he was going to play a big role, it probably would have been out of the bullpen, being that fireman for this team. And if you think back to it, the role that I was thinking he could play was like back in 2019 with Javi Guerra. You know, no disrespect to Javi Guerra, but he was someone who would just eat innings, come out, have like a 4 ERA, whatever it was. That's kind of what I expected from him this year. I wouldn't even been surprised if he was DFA'd at some point this season. This Trevor Williams, the way that he has been pitching through 7 starts, it's no longer he's just having some luck. No, this guy is real. Through his first 7 starts, again, he's not striking out everybody left and right. He's not going out there and just dominating every single start. But look at all the stats that have indicated that this guy is having an elite season so far. His ERA plus is at a 2.04 right now. Well above Major League average. Well above it. If you look at his fielding independent pitching, his whip, all of his numbers are down. His walks are down this year. His strikeouts are a tick up. And of course, even more importantly, in my opinion, even his walks are down this season. Even though it's not all too great, but still, he's walking less guys than what he was doing last year. He's allowing less base runners than what he was last year. Because again, he had a 1.6 whip in 2023. He has a 1.06 whip in 2024. We kind of talked about this the other day. What has been the main difference so far for this Nationals pitching staff? I do believe that Shan Dittle, the former Nats closer, one of the better closers, one of the better bullpen arms that this Nationals organization has had under Mike Rizzo, he's now kind of the middleman. He's like a pitching coach / an analytics guy who feeds the analytics into players and kind of lands it in a softer way, I guess you could say. I think Shan Dittle and the impact that he has had on this staff is probably not mentioned enough. And again, even further than that, the Nationals just know what they're doing, maybe. Just maybe. Maybe Mike Rizzo had a plan for Trevor Williams. Maybe he also believed in the fact that Trevor Williams would turn it around. And hell, at this point, I believe it. The job that he has been doing, we talked about that in the first segment, but still, this is about Trevor Williams. And really, this is about me saying, I'm sorry. I was so wrong. I was so wrong about Trevor Williams going into this season. And I think Nationals fans, you should be stunned at the way that this guy is pitching. Again, just his last start or his last few starts. Bases loaded. Nobody out. Gets out of those jams back to back in the same game. Same freaking game. This is not the same Trevor Williams that we went into this year expecting. I don't know what has gone into him. I don't know what has been the difference. Because again, his 91 mile per hour fastball, it's not fooling anybody. And if you saw him last night, he was on MLB Network, which, by the way, I have YouTube TV and I can't watch MLB Network. Please fix that immediately. It's so wrong that you do that in Major League Baseball, but that's a different story for a different day. But Trevor Williams, they were talking about it. And he was like, I have to kind of make my 90 mile per hour fastball look like 95 miles per hour. It's different things that he has been putting in the work for. In this organization, whatever they have done with Trevor Williams, do that with Patrick Corbin. Do it with anyone. Whatever you have done, you should follow Trevor Williams around anywhere he goes. Whatever coach he's got, follow him around. Do what Trevor Williams is doing. Because this may not be fool's gold. This may not be the Trevor Williams of past years where, he's not all too great. He's going up to the Nats and just because he wants to be a starting pitcher. This guy is a starting pitcher. He's not a bullpen guy. He's not going to be the fireman to blow out the fires of this team of Patrick Corbin. This guy is a real starting pitcher at this point. And again, it's unfortunate. It's his last year of his contract. But the way that this guy has been pitching, what are you going to get from him at the deadline? It's not going to be some crazy big-time prospect, but you're going to get something at this point. The way that he has been pitching, it's way too early to tell, but he's in the Cy Young race at this point, right? The way that he's been playing, the way he's been pitching, the way that this team has kind of been rejuvenated under the national spotlight again, above 500. He's going on an MLB network, dishing out interviews. People want to talk to him. It's an exciting time to be a Nationals fan, but ultimately, it's a way more exciting time to be Trevor Williams because the way that he's been pitching has been out of this world. Thank you all for making Locked On Nats your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. And of course, now we got to preview Game 2 of tonight's Orioles series. But after that, we'll just have a little Game 2 preview. But now we got to tell you guys about our friends over at Prize Picks. And guys, spring training is over and baseball season is officially underway. Don't miss your chance to add your favorite players from the diamond in your Prize Pick entries, whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, or first inning runs. Take your pick of more or less and add them to your Prize Picks entry today. Get in on the playoff action, win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks as you and the world's best players take the game to a new level during basketball's postseason. Prize Picks has something for every sports fan, from baseball and basketball to League of Legends and everything in between. You can pick LeBron, Shohei Ohtani, Connor McDavid, and Jude Bellingham all in the same entry. And when you do that, it's so much fun. And of course, Prize Picks also, for Apple customers out there, now offers Apple Pay for quick and easy deposits in your accounts this basketball season. And it's in the playoffs. You're going to want to try our friends at Prize Picks. I can promise you that. So download the app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. Again, download the app today. Use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. Again, that is code LOCKEDONMLB in lowercase. Thank you all for making Locked On Nationals your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. And of course, check us out over on YouTube and wherever you get your podcast. Just search Locked On Nationals there. But now we got to preview tonight's game because the Nationals, I told you, you got Trevor Williams going in Game 1. You know who's coming up next? Your second best pitcher, sort of, Mitchell Parker. So far, the Orioles, this offense was held pretty tight-lipped yesterday. Gunnar Henderson kept them off the base path. Adley Rutschman kept them off the base path. This team pitched their butt off in yesterday's contest. Can they do it again in back-to-back days? You have a day off coming on Thursday, which is your second day off in 4 days, which is a big thing for this bullpen. I would not be surprised to see David Martinez throw out his A guys again. Get them out there. Get Kyle Finnegan out there for the save in back-to-back days. Win this series. Get 2 games above 500. Now, here's the thing. You're going up against Kyle Bradish, who, outside of Corbin Burns, has been their best pitcher. 27 years old. Again, a former pretty decent pitcher for this. Kyle Bradish has been very good over the last few years for this Orioles team. Last year was really his breakout season, but even then, his rookie season, the numbers weren't great, but you still all saw the stuff there. It clicked. You understood as to why the Orioles liked this guy coming into 2023 and now 2024. But you're going up against a really good offense again, guys. I cannot stress this enough. You cannot keep Gunnar Henderson down all that long. When you are Mitchell Parker, a young guy, 24 years old, he's got the little swag, he's got the chain out, he's got the mustache, he's got the tight pants, he looks the part, but you're going up against one of the better teams in all of baseball. I don't care what you did against the Dodgers. This team, in my opinion, is just as dangerous. Can the Nationals win at this point? Well, I was silly enough to pick against them yesterday. I won't be doing that again. I think the Nationals will go for a 2-game sweep against the Orioles. They will be 2 games above 500. You'll be beating one of the better teams in all of baseball. You already beat the Dodgers at their house. You bring the Orioles back to D.C., you whip up on the Birds, a little Battle of the Beltway series. That would be a pretty damn good consolation prize to a pretty tough few seasons here. David Rubenstein, you couldn't buy the Nationals, but you bought the Orioles. We're still the older child in this relationship. Thank you all for making Locked On Nats your first listen every single day, as we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. And of course, check us out over on YouTube. Just search Locked On Nationals there, and that is where you'll find your daily coverage of the Washington Nationals. And now, enjoy tonight's game. I will catch you guys on the flip side. Have a good one.